Morning. I took up cycling a couple of years ago, and I've enjoyed cycling to parts of New South Wales, Victoria, New Zealand, and even Vietnam. I think we have an opportunity here to capitalise on the growing cycling tourism and the small business market in the Coffs region. My adventure started when we went to New Zealand last year, and we cycled from the Alps down to the ocean on a trail that they had set up. What we saw when we spoke to some of the people that were involved with the trail was that they set it up because there was a need for tourism in the off-season. I was pretty inspired by that. We came back here and I said, why can't we do that here? In fact, they already do it in Victoria, and they have books and trails set up all over the place. So our project today is unique because it relies on technology with little or no change to the already existing infrastructure that's in place. It makes also use of the highway duplication which is occurring as we see the Pacific Highway being duplicated. So the trail that I'm proposing for cyclists is that we go from Coolangatta to Eden, a distance of 1,680 kilometres, set up into 40 to 50 kilometre stretches, and currently it is not signposted. So the way we get around that is we bring the trail down to downloadable maps and we put key points on it. So the project, for it to work, would need planning materials for people to go on the cycling. It would need operational utilities for them to use it whilst they're actually on the cycle trail, and we would need sponsors or official partners who are going to support those people using it. So I've got a website at New South Wales NSW cycle.com. The website has got planning information and maps, and you can see an example here of how you can actually select down to the detail of the route that you want to go to, and this is live, so by all means you can go and actually see this right now. In addition to having the actual route marked, which you can zoom in on, we want to identify the official partners along the way, and official partners are actually key to the whole thing. On the route, official partners will provide cafes, they'll provide accommodation, they'll provide all sorts of resources that we need when we're actually travelling as a cyclist. The idea behind this will be that we'll use them in conjunction on the website, on brochures, and on a phone app. And the phone app is where the digital challenge comes for us. This is a great opportunity to develop an application that we can use on the phone, and we have it actually operating right now as an Android application, and it's in a trial mode. What we really wanted to do is we wanted to show the current location, the details of the route, the attractions, and the ability to be able to actually phone ahead to the place that you're going to next. So for example, you might be going off to a coffee shop, or you might want to find out about accommodation. And the ideal scenario would be, when Telstra is not available, is for the whole thing to work offline. And as you can appreciate, being such a difficult coastline, it's always a little bit difficult to sometimes get internet connection. So can this translate? Yes, this can translate into revenue for us. Firstly, it can translate for the vendors themselves. Those vendors who are providing services, cafes, accommodation, are going to see real benefits from this. Secondly, there'll be advertising in the brochures, which the vendors themselves will contribute, and that will go towards the project costs. Thirdly, there'll be community sponsorship. And we expect to see that community sponsorship will play a big thing as people realise how popular cycling is and how much this tourism draw card there is. And we could imagine that communities will fund, along with councils and grants, to improve the existing cycleways. And finally, of course, there's the opportunity for merchandising. T-shirts, caps, and all sorts of things to bring in extra revenue into this project. Now, to make it work, we need a not-for-profit incorporation, which we've set up, which enables us to take in donations and to act as a steering committee to help us in this project. We'll work the actual workers in a separate entity, and we're looking right now for IT development and support, particularly for that phone app. We also need marketing and inquiries so that we can go out to the Chamber of Commerce's and sell our opportunity. And of course, we will work closely with the Chamber of Commerce, councils, Destination New South Wales, Roads and Maritime Service, and naturally, Bicycle New South Wales. I invite any questions from the panel.
David, is there a business plan that exists? Can you step us through some of the likely costs of the next phase of this project and what you think the economic impact might be to the Coffs region?
Thank you. Very good question. Yes, we have a business model canvas which we've developed for this project. We've identified some unique opportunities, and we're getting lots of feedback via our webpage and the mobile phone app, which we've got in the store at the moment, so we're getting feedback from that and also replies. So what we've developed is that there is this need for separate teams. There is a team needed to develop the phone application and the web page. And for that, we need resources. And we've already started searching for resources. And most of those, we've actually found that within Coffs Harbour region, there are such resources. So maybe we don't have to send this overseas. We can actually develop it in-house. And that will be wonderful. So we need to employ that staff. So there's a staff cost for employing IT development in this project. There's also a staff cost associated with marketing and a travel and time cost to get out there. 1,680 kilometres is a long way. And for us to visit all those Chamber of Commerces, we need to start somewhere. And I think we have the perfect model to start right here in Coffs Harbour. We also need a home base. So we need a place where people who are interested in this project can contact and we can work with. So our budget includes a home base, a team to do the marketing, and a team to do the IT development.
David, thanks for your presentation. As somebody who just dropped his bicycle off to get fixed up this morning, you immediately had me on board the minute you put that one out in front. Can you tell us a little bit about, okay, so you've got the Android app up and running. Are you looking at, the alternative sort of platform like Apple, et cetera, as well?
Absolutely. The Android, as part of our business model canvas, was to get feedback as to whether this would work. My vision actually extends the idea that you're in Europe, which is a 44 billion euro per annum industry in cycling tourism. I'm in Europe and I'm looking for the world's greatest bike ride, and I see this one in Australia, 1,680, and I think, I could fly to the Coolangatta, to the Gold Coast. I could cycle to the Opera House and go home. What a great trip. So having those resources available and seeing that information means that they can do all that planning and come on. We would need to make it multi-platformed, and we'd need to make sure that it can be used on all resources, and you don't know what people are going to use. So yes, it would definitely have to be in different things. But at this stage, it's prototype, and I'm hoping with this challenge, we can launch it into a highly successful and profitable for all people involved with it.
Thanks, David, for your presentation. It's always difficult to go first, I guess. Just one question. You mentioned about Destination New South Wales, and obviously RMS would be another key partner. Have you done anything to work with those organisations yet? Yes,
thank you. Good question. Destination New South Wales recently had an opportunity for grants, and we indicated to them that we're as keen as mustard. Destination New South Wales actually gave the grant to the Big Banana for the water slide, but we were quite keen to be actively involved in this, and we're certainly fighting hard to become part of their active program.
David, as part of the pitch to potential investors, they're always keen to know what's in it for me. So when you pitch to investors, they want to know how many users, what is the user numbers, what are the user numbers, and do you have any predictions? Do you have any market insight? What do you expect, how many users there are? Let's say, for example, if Telstra wants to invest in this app and provide this app as a free download, free data when you use their network.
Ooh,
and
nice.
What user numbers can you sell to Telstra to convince them?
It's a really good question. I would only have to look at the models that have been used in other parts of the world, and we have looked at the model that they've used in New Zealand. However, they do not have a phone app, and the phone app is the unique aspect of this project. In fact, in all of the scenarios that we've looked at, this would be a first, yet in our experience on travelling overseas, it is the most important, and none of them have it. So we can't predict how many are going to use it at this point, but we do know it is having an effect. And sort of feedback that I'm getting, for example, one of the feedbacks that I had, this came in a couple of days ago, just discovered your website via the Memorial Walk blurb from Newcastle City Council's website. Very exciting. We are busy studying maps as I type. We are retiring in about 3 months and plan to spend 6 months cycling in Victoria and now a month or 2 in New South Wales, then off to Europe for a couple of years. We're attracting that sort of interest, then I think we've got a lot of potential.